Hey everyone, I'm Princess Link. Welcome back to Metal Gear Solid 4. Epilogue, Naked Sin. Haven. The sea breeze came in from the ocean at the end of the runway. By straining to listen, I might have faintly heard the waves. Seagull... Stop it now! Everyone told me not to stroll on that beach. Said seagulls gonna come, poke me in the coconut, and they did. Okay. Seagulls flew overhead, perhaps thinking something was on the island. This was a haven. Businesses buried their roots here to escape national taxes and located their servers here to ensure the physical safety of data they didn't want in their own countries. This was a tiny island, a nation only in name. The tropical isle, home to a scant few thousand residents, had been recognized as an independent state by the global community of nations who sought an air pocket outside the complex array of their interconnected interests. The sun's gaze was strong here, but not uncomfortably hot, with the unobstructed breeze blowing across the tarmac. The country provided little reason to visit, and the runway usually remained unused. The airport itself was wholly adequate, paid for by taxes of corporations that had rushed to the island for its low tax rates and lax information laws. The locals seemed to be living comfortably. While our society squeezed too hard, the benefits trickled down to this haven. In the shadow of Nomad, prominently parked on the runway, we awaited the bride, who was changing into her dress inside the heavy transport plane. The scene was surreal. Our intimate wedding party hadn't come all the way to this tropical island because the bride had wanted some flashy wedding. The ceremony was held here so that Snake and I might attend. Even though the Patriots had perished, the lengthy rap sheet they had framed us with lived on. Yet the bride wouldn't hold the ceremony without us. Snake and I declined many times, but she insisted on having us two fugitives present, always saying, with such obstinacy as to make her father proud, "I can't imagine the wedding without you two here." 1 month had passed. As for how much and how little the world has changed since those events, you probably have a better sense than I. As a wanted man, I flew around the world, apart from it. The outcome of our battles was only truly found amid the laughter, the tears, and the lives of the common man. So, how about it? How much did the world change? Or has it hardly changed at all? The next time we meet, I hope you'll tell me. Sunny told me what happened later. At a full-length mirror set up in the cargo bay, Mei Ling and Sunny adjusted Meryl's wedding dress. Her body was built to handle the terrific recoil of her Desert Eagle, with wide, firm shoulders and a well-muscled back. But replaced Meryl's uniform with the dress, and her firm, utilitarian body flourished. Her well-honed figure was fundamentally beautiful. "You look amazing," Mei Ling admired in wonder, her eyes tearing. Campbell stood behind his daughter, cane in hand, watching over her as she prepared to embark upon her new life. After Meryl returned from our battle alive, the Colonel continued to avoid any opportunity to talk with her. Tortured by doubt, can I say to her face what I was able to say to over a remote video? Would she even listen to what I have to say? Campbell remained unable to speak out to his daughter on her wedding day. Perhaps acutely sensing the Colonel's timidity, Meryl faced his reflection in the mirror. She took a step forward, her voice devoid of expression. Intimidated, Campbell reflexively lowered his head. There was something in his face. I can't look away, not now. Somehow Campbell found the courage to look at her face, ready to accept whatever she had to say and whatever words she would use to rebuke him. What he got was a gun barrel pointed at his head. Mei Ling and Sunny gasped. The Desert Eagle's frame formed a straight line that pointed directly at his temple. Campbell's eyes widened in astonishment, but after a moment he closed them and waited for the muzzle to erupt. "Colonel," Meryl said, "you're going to walk me down the aisle." With a faint sound of metal rubbing past metal, the magazine released and dropped into Meryl's open hand. Campbell's eyes fell to the container. Not a single shell was inside. She slid open the action and displayed the weapon's empty chamber. Then she took Campbell's head in hers and gently deposited the Desert Eagle there. "You're not angry anymore?" the Colonel asked. The gun felt heavy. The pistol had a recoil strong enough to break the wrists of an average woman. Thick metal provided a frame and chamber suitable for powerful cartridge rounds. When considered in the context of modern close combat situations, the firearm produced excessive force and was too hard to wield. The Desert Eagle could only be called an unnecessary weapon. To continue her soldier's life, Meryl had to carry such a thing. This was the weight she had borne until this moment. "Oh, I'm still mad," she said. "But now, you've got a chance to win me over." Campbell looked up from the pistol and returned his gaze to Meryl. Yes, there was still hope, as long as he could make that first step to change something. And this was his first tiny step, toward a new goal and a new life. It was never too late for a new beginning. "You're right. We have plenty of time now." Campbell tucked the gun away at the small of his back, took Meryl's hand, and walked her down Nomad's cargo ramp and onto the tarmac. A wide red carpet led from the plane's hatch all the way to Johnny Akiba, waiting in a white suit, flowers in hand. Johnny first met her 9 years ago on Shadow Moses, yet I doubt she even remembered. As a member of the Next Generation Special Forces participating in Liquid's action, Johnny had been assigned guard duty on Meryl's holding cell. The soldiers of the Next Generation Special Forces had been brainwashed by Foxhound Psychic Psycho Mantis. Because their participation in the Shadow Moses takeover had been unwilling, the Genome soldiers were never officially prosecuted, but all they faced discharge or transferred to inconsequential duties. Johnny drifted from one armed force to the next, including a Russian mercenary group, and finally landing with the Army's CID's PMC investigation unit, where he was reunited with a detestable gorilla of a woman who had once knocked him out and stripped him of his uniform. Of course, she wasn't really a gorilla, and the moment he saw her again, he realized his feelings for her. But hating needles, he ducked out of the mandatory nanomachine injections. Without the SOP, he could never keep in sync with the team. With Meryl only ever angry at him, Johnny remained unable to reveal his feelings. If only he'd had the SOP, he could have controlled his weak bowels, and he wouldn't have been the target of laughter and disgust whenever he rushed to the toilet. His alienation from the squad had been a direct refusal of his direct result of his refusal of the system. But ultimately, his exclusion from the SOP saved his comrades, including Meryl, in the Middle East and Eastern Europe. Only Johnny kept his head during the chaos of the Guns of the Patriots tests. During the fight on Outer Haven, Johnny was finally able to confess his love. After Snake disappeared behind the portal, Johnny woke up and helped Meryl defend against the Haven troopers. There, she realized this man, who had already once rescued her in Eastern Europe, and only moments before flung himself over her snipers, be damned, could be someone she could spend the rest of her life with. Trailing the bride and her father, Sunny and Mei Ling descended from Nomad. Jonathan, Ed, and I stood on each side of the aisle and greeted Meryl with applause. Some distance away, on the side of the runway, a young boy watched, having been drawn in by curiosity. He must have been coming or going from the ocean and carried a fishing rod in a basket. "You put a fish in our basket!" Oh, yeah! I forgot I did that. You owe me an apology. Just hold your breath and see when the time is right. Birds will bite your face. I noticed bells ringing. Was there a church on this island? But then I realized that the peals were growing louder. Ed and Jonathan Jonathan! Also heard the sound and were looking around. "The bells are getting louder," Johnny said. Then he saw something and surprised under his voice. "It's coming closer!" We turned to face the oncoming sound, and above the tarmac, the shimmering heat waves seemed to bend. Then, as if teleporting in, an armored vehicle appeared, first spreading from a single floating point, then quickly revealed in entirety as its octo-camo deactivated. The bell rings came from speakers on the outside of the Striker APC. Having dropped its camouflage skin, the vehicle barreled straight toward Nomad. Just as the wedding party began to step back in alarm, the Striker's mighty bulk turned into a drift and slid to a stop beside the red carpet. I caught sight of the words, "I have you," stenciled on the vehicle side. The hatch opened and Drebin appeared. "Just in time," he said. The green of the APC's armor was a little out of place amid the celebration. Though astonished by his showy entrance, I found thinking, couldn't you have done something about that car? He waved the... Wait. Drebin pulled a handkerchief from his jacket pocket and said, "And I brought gifts." He waved the cloth, and the striker's green became the pure white of a UN vehicle, a wedding-themed octo camo pattern. Even Drebin's slogan changed to be, "Drebin's, we have yours." He touched the vehicle's rear hatch and looked over his shoulder at us with a smile. Flower petals burst from the open hatch. "Incredible!" Mei Ling admired. They were white roses. Fans inside the APC sent white petals rising through the tropical sky. Flowers blanketed everything around us. The runway, even Nomad, the pure white standing out all the more where they settled on the red carpet aisle. A shower of flowers, compliments of Drebin's, and Drebin caught a single fluttering petal and closed his hand around it. He opened his fist to reveal a dove, which took to the air. "A little something extra for me." Magic tricks. This is so funny. I'm sorry. He just keeps doing these dumb magic tricks, and it's the funniest shit. It's literally the funniest shit. Right, Miki? She's sleeping. Then Drebin's words a signal. In an instant, the fluttering petals all became doves. The flock flew together through the blue island sky towards some distant place. As the white birds danced past her, Meryl looked around for Snake. She wanted him to witness this moment over anyone else. But among the faces here, his wasn't to be found, even though she had the ceremony held in a specific haven where no nation's laws would reach, so that Snake and I could be present. Amid the applause, a trace of unease tinged Meryl's expression, and Mei Ling, the sole other woman here, was the only guest to notice. Mei Ling moved close to my ear and whispered for no one else to hear, "Where's Snake?" I faked a wry smile. I couldn't tell anyone he was still fighting a battle. This time, his opponent was himself, and this battle was far more difficult, tragic, and lonesome than any we'd made it through in the past. Like this unfinished battle. I'm sorry. That song is so good, and it's only used like once. What the heck, my guy? No, it's like Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. There's like so many good Hex Girls songs that are just only on the soundtrack. Like, and then there's Unfinished Battle, which is literally only plays once. Apparently it also plays in Future Connected, but I don't know. Anyway, now Snake was about to face his last battle alone. And so, just as Naomi had done, I lied, to keep secret Snake's battle, to let Snake slip off alone. This was our toughest choice, but we both understood it was for the best. "Who knows?" I said. "That guy always keeps you waiting." I didn't think that for 1 second that Mei Ling believed a lie like that. I did my best, but I'm not an actor by anyone's standard. I made an attempt at a grin, but I couldn't help my lips from going taut. Only Campbell saw my oddly rigid smile and knew what meaning it held. Campbell gave his unspoken words to the doves to carry with them to the heavens. "Thank you." He spent the entire day in bed, gazing at the light that came through the blinds. The only time he ever left was when he needed to use the bathroom. He was told he would be leaving the hospital soon, but he didn't know where he should go. Much might have changed in this world. A great many things out there might carry an entirely different significance, or may even have been rebuilt anew. But as far as he could figure, nowhere in that new world would there be a place for him. He spent the days lying in bed, unfeeling, taking a detached notice of Maryland's soft sunshine. If only tomorrow would never come. That might sound like a trite expression, but to him the dilemma was grave. How damnable the existence of time. Things came, then adroitly slipped past you, darting off to some distant place behind. With consciousness came the imposed nature of time. Rules of nature. And thumbs up. Right, Mickey? I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. To him, each day in this hospital was like a battle. A fight of not fighting. A fight of not doing. A fight of not feeling, of not thinking. Troubled that tomorrow might be the day he could no longer keep up that battle. He slept on the bed, surrounded by the medical machines. That was why, when the nurse came in and said he had a visitor, the man didn't do anything in response. When someone came, all he did was reaffirm his conviction that ultimately there is no place for him. Of course, even when the two passing through the door were Rose and a young boy he'd never met before, his reaction remained exactly the same. Holding a white bouquet of her namesake, Rosemary? What? She's holding a bouquet of rosemary? That's her name! What? Rose approached Jack's bed. The boy hid warily in Rose's shadow. Jack rolled onto his side, putting his back toward her, returning to the Bethesda sunshine. I know that's a place in Maryland, but... Wait, no, that one really old picture of Snake where he looks literally like Todd Howard. Is that his name? Yeah, Todd Howard. It's so funny. It's like Metal Gear 1, I think. It's the funniest shit. Like, he literally looks like Todd Howard. Like, he literally looks like he's about to announce Skyrim is getting a new release or whatever. I don't know. Rose smiled sadly and spoke awkwardly to his back. Jack, how are you feeling? Do you know what day it is? Jack voiced a non-committal sound. He didn't have anything more to say. When Rose asked if she could sit, he didn't respond at all. Without change, without a place, just the flow of time to let pass by. Rose sat in a folding chair a couple of feet away from the bed and placed the flowers on the side table. Standing behind her, the boy peeked his head out to stare at Jack. Sensing this, Jack glanced over his shoulder, only to meet Rose's eyes. He immediately regretted his curiosity. What do you want? He said. Come to laugh at me? Hearing the self-torture in his words and tone, Rose decided this was no time to worry about the distance between them. She stood from the chair, pulled the child over, and sat on the edge of Jack's bed. Jack tried to move away, but the wall on the other side of the bed provided no room to escape any farther. Jack, Rose said, look at the boy. Campbell's kid? Yes, because, yes, the Colonel was actually born an old man. Fun fact. No, literally though, young Campbell in Portable Ops is the most cursed thing ever. I hate it. I hate it. Like, they made him hot, and it's so cursed. Like, no, he's not supposed to be. He's just supposed to be some old guy. He's not. He was literally born an old man. He was born an old man. He was never a young guy. He was just always an old guy. He was always just some old guy. I hate it. Anyway, Jack wanted desperately to run from the pain. There was the life that was supposed to have been his future, the life that was to lead him into a new world, the life that had not been granted birth. Being stared at by the possibilities he had been unable to attain, Jack saw the depth of his despair as low as he thought it could ever be. This was the very bottom. This was when you were at the bottom and someone said dig. Then, as Jack decided he might as well fall as far as he could and embarked on his way down to a new stratum of despair, Rose's words held him back. No, he's yours. In that moment, when time stopped, the soft hum of the medical equipment felt harsh and grating. Time had simply streamed past. The void had been something only to pass through, but now it was all still. Time had been frozen by one sentence. Frightened and confused, Jack said, "I don't have any kids." Rose touched her hand to Jack's shoulder. The arms she had heard he lost had been replaced with new ones without that purely functional aesthetic of the exposed combat exoskeleton. They were more like typical artificial limbs, coated with material that looked almost like real skin. "He's your son," Rose said. You said you had a miscarriage." Just like so screwed up, dude. Like, yeah, it's because the Patriots or whatever, but like it's like such a traumatic thing for like people who actually go through that, and then to just like lie about it. It's like so screwed up. Her display of kindness left Jack feeling exasperated. To be honest, he tried to feel that way. But somewhere, some deep part of his heart beat faintly with the desire to believe that she was telling the truth. Jack despised the baseless optimism that even now reached out to that vague hope. "The miscarriage was a lie. I had a healthy baby boy." Rose lifted her hand from his shoulder, returned to the folding chair, and sat down. What her fingers had felt might have only been a reproduction of human warmth, but Rose felt happy regardless to have touched Jack's body again. She didn't care if the flesh was only a replica as long as its heat came from the man she loved. "Mr. Campbell pretended to be my husband to protect me and our son until you'd completed your mission, to shield us from Patriot eyes." "What?" Jack turned to look at her. Maybe her hope, please believe me, was starting to get through. He still wasn't ready to accept the sudden revelation as the truth, but at least he had stopped being so intent on rejecting her. "He didn't even tell Meryl. He sacrificed everything, even his family, to protect us. I'm sorry, Jack. I wanted to tell you." Jack sat up. The bedsheet slipped down and left his chest bare. A faint groove along his shoulder indicated the edge between body and artificial limb. The boy ducked back behind Rose at the sight of him, but the child's eyes held on him, transfixed with curiosity. "John, aren't you going to say hello to your father?" Rose motioned the child forward. When John didn't make an attempt to move, Jack tentatively extended his arm out to the child. "My son, Little John!" With artificial fingers, he reached out toward the boy's face. His new limbs had been made to be as realistic as possible, but the minute differences couldn't be ignored. He was real life's version of the uncanny valley. Something was off about the texture of Jack's skin, a hint of ceramics, the sense of rubber. Almost human, but falling just short and thus inspiring revulsion. What does he have? I don't know. Just falling on his face. Just right on his face. Like, yeah, I'll be fine. He just falls right on his face. John backed away from Jack's approaching hand. There's so many. Like, why are there so many Metal Gear characters whose name is some variation of John? Like, there's Big Boss, both Johnnies, Jonathan. I think there's another Jonathan in Portable Ops. There's Raiden and Little John. Like, that's like 7 different characters whose name is some variation of John. It's like, can you please use any other name? Like, there's a Johnny and a Jonathan, and it's like, why? "Scared of me, huh?" Jack said. For a while, Jack hadn't been human. To protect Snake, to die for Snake. With that drive, all he had left to cling to, the beast known as Raiden was born. He didn't yet know if he could go back to being human again. And as long as he remained in the realm of the beast, of course the child would be frightened. Raiden studied his artificial body and said, "I don't blame you. It's okay." "Nuh-uh!" John said, the abrupt change of height startling Rose and Jack. "I'm not scared." The boy approached the bed, reached his hand behind his back, and pulled out a toy sword. He pressed the switch on the hilt, and the The toy produced the familiar hum of its sci-fi laser sword. Well, me too. John spread his stance, struck her for a pose, and said, I think you're cool. Kind of like a comic book superhero. Deadpool. No. Look, I just watched both Deadpool movies, like, last week. No, but, like... It's, like, the funniest shit, because apparently... You can only play Solid Snake if you're somehow associated with the X-Men franchise, series, whatever. No, because, like, Akio Otsuka was in Deadpool in the Japanese dub. I think who was Colossus? I don't really remember who he was. But I know he was in it. And Oscar Isaac was in Apocalypse. And David Hayter was one of the writers for his two movies. And no, my dad was literally watching the first X-Men. And fighting moves wanted to be like, you know, Solid Snake's voice actor wrote that. And then I went upstairs, and when I came back down, he turned the TV off. No, I'll go into the living room and he'll just be watching, like, Iron Man. It's so funny. Like, he'll literally just be watching some random superhero movie. Anyway. Jack laughed. How long had it been since he had laughed like that, heartily, and without a hint of sarcasm? For a time, he had forgotten how good it felt to laugh. To forget was to become the beast. The Beast. Hank McCoy. Yes. Sorry. I really like X-Men. Mickey. Me and my brother used to play X-Men with my Barbies. And I was telling my mom about it one time, and she, like, did not believe me. And I was like, no, we did. And we also played Batman with... We had these, like, weird Batman toys. They were, like... I don't even know. He had, like, a hide head, but a soft body. And he was, like, roughly the same size as a Barbie, so... We played Batman. We played Batman and X-Men with my Barbies. We watched X-Men Evolution a lot, which David Hayter was also in, apparently, even though, no, he voiced Captain America in one episode, but he also doesn't have any lines, so it's like, what? No, it's so funny, though, like, it's like, yeah, David Hayter voiced Captain America in X-Men Evolution. Yeah, he literally has no lines. Anyway, yeah, Beast, Hank McCoy. John was grinning back at him. Jack looked at the boy longingly. Would he accept a hug? The question wasn't one for the child. Whether Jack could put his arms around his son rested entirely upon himself. Could he be a father? Could he take the boy into his life? Jack asked himself if he was up to the task. Then Jack pulled his son in close, resting the child's head against his chest. This was his new life, one with responsibility and with hope. In his arms he held his future, and he was ready for it, body and soul. Suddenly John began to cry. Also, side note, my grandfather's name is John. And I also have a cousin named Jack. And I have an Uncle David and a great Uncle George. I think that's funny. It's like, if I had a nickel for every relative who shared their name with a Metal Gear character, I'd have 4 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that there's 4 of them. Anyway. Yeah. Suddenly, John began to cry, not afraid, but recognizing as much as a child could Jack's internal conflict and his decision. He understood completely that this man was now his father, and had chosen to take on a father's responsibility. Rose, Jack said, I'm done running. Jack became overwhelmed by how precious the child in his arms was to him. Emotions long suppressed came to the surface. A tear ran down his cheek and landed on John's crew-cut silver hair. Seeing Jack crying, Rose too was brought to tears. Rose leaned over the child to hug Jack and said, and I'm not afraid anymore. For John, this was the moment he finally found the father he'd been waiting for. Not every man could become a father. A man didn't become a father when the woman he loved began to carry his child inside her. Nor did a man become a father when the child was born. The moment only came when he accepted his child and decided, unconditionally, that they would share their lives together. In a mirror in the corner of the room, Jack caught the reflection of their own beast. He chuckled and said, we're like Beauty and the Beast. Rose lifted her head and looked into his eyes. No, she said, you're no beast. You're my husband, and his father. Part of me thinks that in that moment, Rose truly became John's mother. She stopped fearing this man, the father of her child. She accepted him the way he was. As Jack began to acknowledge his role in their family, she too started down a new path. How many detours had she taken before reaching this point? Much she had given up, and much she had lost. Jack had come dangerously close to stripping all meaning from her sacrifices. He had selfishly rejected life and basked in the comfort of nihilism and despair. I won't lose my way again. If you are losing your way, you need some protection. Black tar will get you wherever you go. They could find you quickly, it's sticky. However you try to tough it out, you just can't beat them. They said, seek to find the field, so get your skills, but now we can only feel all the pain and the danger of being real. And we may have to kill just to stay alive, because they've taken away close mates, and we don't know our own fates. We fantastic protect and take on ghosts, but now this black tires new and the damage is quick, get moves real fast, plus it covers everything. This wasn't in the profile, so I've got to find a way to win before we die out. Living life on the run with a hand on the gun. Where's the exit? We can't go back where it came from. We can't go back where it came from. Anyway. Yeah, I won't lose my way again. I don't have time to waste in searching for myself. I have too much to do now, as a father. And only by remaining true to my family can I repay the freedom Emma and Naomi gave me. What did Naomi do? Why is everyone so obsessed with Naomi in this book? Anyway. Yeah, no, low-key. Have beef with Metal Gear Rising Revengeance for like completely undoing. I don't know. Like, it's like, oh yeah. And then it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a father. And then the next game he appears in, like, it's just like, what? Anyway, if you like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And, Yeah. If you like this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.